It's Monday night. Your Kansas City Chiefs are in the AFC West lead, and they're about to take it into a stranglehold this week. Coming up on Thursday, they play the Chargers. We're going to get into that, how they do it, what they get it done, who's going to be on the field, who's going to be on the COVID list, because that's getting kind of crazy. And we're going to answer all of your questions with Dan Harms right here tonight. Welcome to RGR Football. Hey, Dan, you're back. How are you?
I'm doing good. Sorry about yesterday, everybody. I know it was a little weird. It was weird for myself not being on the live show after the game, but duty calls. Being a dad has its responsibilities. So yeah, it was good. I'm doing good. And yeah, Chiefs destroying the Raiders like it's a thing. Always.
Like it's a roll. Folks, up here above me, you can see, if I point the right way, this is the Q&A. We do this every Monday night. We also have a stream every Thursday night. It is the Chief in the North as well. The breakdown is always post-game. So we kind of run that through the week. If you're new, like, sub, and hit that bell notification, because all of you newbies need to get on the train now before it gets too full with all these hangers-on that have been talking trash all season. And all of a sudden they're like, oh, maybe they weren't broke the first time. So that's what I've been dealing with the last 24 hours with people saying, oh, they're still broken. No, it's a question of opportunity. That's all that it is, in my opinion. After what you saw, how did you break down what this game meant?
Honestly, this was a game about L'Jarius Sneed, and it had nothing to do with the logo. I know some people didn't even know about it, according to reports coming out of the locker room after the game. They didn't even know about it. This was about the team for L'Jarius Sneed, and that shows you the kind of team that they are. I think you saw a little bit Patrick Mahomes giving his jet to Sneed to get down to see his family and be with them for this time. This was all really about that. And if what happens is that they break out of this offensive slump because they played for each other, then that's a benefit for you. But I still have to see it. And I know that this is going to be harped on. I need to see it for multiple games in a row. The difference in this game for me personally was the Chiefs took more deep shots down the field against the Raiders than they did even the first meeting. Like they did more of it, and they were dialed up, like on purpose. This wasn't just this broke down. They had those routes dialed up. That double move from Mecole Hardman was on purpose. Like that wasn't just because he broke the guy's ankles and said, "Okay, I'm going to go downfield." That was on purpose. So I think that they're trying to break out of this slump, get the ball downfield a little bit. So again, 2 games. I need to see the drops not come back, creep up. I need to see all of this continue for multiple games before I will commit to believing that the offense is fully back. But it was definitely nice to see them just kind of do whatever they wanted to and have zero repercussions offensively for it.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. We're going to get into the questions, folks. If you would do us a favor, especially if you're new around here and you don't know how this works, in order for me to see them, question marks at the beginning really, really help. You can obviously always highlight yourself if you want to support the channel. The Super Chats do a great job of that, and they actually make it more visible to me as well, so it helps me catch them. If not, thank you, Stevie Keys. Aaron's going to be here as well. I'm sure Jeff will be in the chat. Gooch will make it eventually. The whole RGR crew will be here, even maybe Sean, from what I thought. And you can always ask us stuff in here, and they will help me find things that maybe I miss. You want to take this first one while I stack some questions?
No problem. Thanks for the question, Voodoo. How's it going, man? I know you're regular on Twitter, always keeping me on my toes. Do you think they try and keep Clark by lowering his cap hit without pushing money to future years, or without void years, or putting money into a signing bonus or other cap gymnastics, or he's out? I personally believe that he's done as of now, but again, this could change depending on the last 4 games and into the postseason. If he continues the pressure numbers, it doesn't have to be sacks, by the way. He had 8 pressures against the Raiders. If he can continue to have a production, he's top 5 in pressures since week 8 too. So he can continue to have that effect. I think that they might think about tweaking the number and trying to get him back just on a lower number. obviously there's a lot of money to be saved by cutting him. So I still think that they're going to cut him, but he can push the envelope, if not for this team, to try to get himself another contract. I think that's partly what's happening right now, as we're seeing him kind of realize I'm healthy and I might not be on this team next year, so I need to play a little bit better to maybe get one more payday and show that I can still play. So like I said, I personally believe he's not going to be here, but you never really know until it happens.
Yeah, you never can be certain. Thank you, by the way, Voodoo. Thank you, Priest. Do you think the Chiefs have an answer for Mike Williams? I think they possibly can. I think the key is Fenton. I thought he looked pretty good. They didn't play him a ton of snaps. It wasn't like he played the whole game like Thornhill and Ward pretty much. You got to rough him up early in the route, and then you got to have safety help over the top, especially if Keenan Allen, we don't know if he's going to make it back or not. If they don't have Allen, then you can afford to bracket him with Juan or whoever's deep, except unless it's Sorensen, and get that done and take him out of this offense. Yeah. And if they do that, and Eckler didn't practice today.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't practice, but they said if they had, Eckler would not have been able to go. That's a big key as well.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think they can do it with Fenton a little bit, but he's been a problem for them. We'll just say that.
Right. What's your thoughts here? Take Voodoo's.
Yeah, thanks again, Voodoo. Why isn't Gray making more of an impact as tight end is still an offseason need with Jody's Achilles? I think we've seen with a lot of other players, Patrick has a trust thing. He very much trusts Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. That shows up. I think he's starting to trust the running backs more. I think he clearly trusts Darrell Williams. I think that there's no question about that. Those three guys have his trust in the passing game. Everyone else has to really earn it. And as a rookie, still learning the offense and working his way onto the field, it's not there. And typically, if he's on the field, he's not a first read either. Mahomes does like to get there to his first read. And if he's open, he's trying to hit him. So I think Gray is still learning a bit more. The trust is not there, which for a rookie makes sense. So as we've seen with weapons with Patrick Mahomes, is you need that development in the trust. And I think that's just going to take some time.
Agreed. Alex, what are some of the challenges facing the Chiefs for Thursday night? One, it's getting turned around and getting focused on what they do different than what the Raiders do, which quite frankly is kind of an organized offense. It may not be hitting on all cylinders, but it is organized. It's also defending particular matchups like the Eckler and like the Mike Williams. And at the end of the day, they had to pressure Carr. I think that was mostly a warm-up because they have to pressure Herbert.
They have to.
Or you're not going to get anywhere.
Yeah. It's the
Miss
come
Holly.
Yeah.
Thank you, Miss Holly. Nice to see you. Hi, Dan. Oh, this has got to be for you after you.
Hi. Thank you. All the talk this past few years has EB and Toe, but Spags is possibly starting a coach on his way into a new head coach. So I think what we're seeing with Spags is this is what he does well. We've already seen him be a head coach a couple different times. I know that he's probably got some feelers out there and that sort of thing, but I personally think he might be just more comfortable and better off as a defensive coordinator. He's probably always trying to get that head coaching job. But if this defense can actually play for a full season and not need a ramp up, I think you'd be hearing more and more about Spags possibly garnering some head coaching prospects. But the thing about Tobe and EB is they've never had it before. We've seen Spags as a head coach, and we've seen the fallout from that more specifically. I think that the league sees him as a niche guy, and his niche is doing really good defensive coordinating. So that might be what he's stuck at.
Hey, that's all right. Like, I think that's a career
it is okay
having. So we got that one. Let's see. Ro, how are you? Do you think Hughes earned more playing time after the performance yesterday, especially if Snead is out? Yes. The nice thing is if he has any trouble, and he did get pretty beat up by Mike Williams last time, you can bring in Baker. Baker actually played more snaps than I thought. He got out there for 17 snaps, which is more than I thought watching it. So you have the nice thing is those guys have both come into being your fourth and fifth corners are able to play quality snaps and give you like not a huge drop off. So what do you think of this one from Adam? Thank you, Adam.
Thank you, Adam. I think there's a pretty good chance that the Colts knock off the Patriots. The Colts are one of the teams that I think can actually do some damage in the postseason if they get there. I think that they're hitting their stride right now. They're playing better defense. Their offense has the identity. I know that a lot of people think you can't win playoff games with just running the ball, but that's when you have an identity and you have the scheme fit around Jonathan Taylor, you can hurt a lot of defenses doing that. And I think that specifically against the Buccaneers, that showed me that they can be multiple. He drew up a perfect game plan, come out and throw the ball a lot. They got up, they had success. And then when the Buccaneers turned and said, okay, we're going to stop you from throwing the ball, they ran it effectively with Taylor. So I think that Reich has done a really good job of finding out the strengths and weaknesses of that team. And I do think that they can give the Patriots a run for their money.
Yeah, I think this is probably the best chance to see the Patriots lose.
Yep.
This is the best team they're going to face. Cody, did Patrick look more relaxed against too high looks? He was definitely more patient, and it did feel like he was more comfortable about, hey, this is what I have in terms of options, and I'm just going to take what's there and exploit it with the right route combination. Instead of trying to run man beaters into too high and that kind of thing, they actually attacked the defense for what it was. Now, they didn't run as much too high as I thought they were going to.
Yeah.
I saw the count come out, and somebody tweeted at us, and I trust Mike Clay, and he has those shell numbers. Yeah. I don't get those. The PFF doesn't give you those either unless you happen to be a broadcaster. Does only a 4%, or actually it went down. It went down 4%. Did that surprise you?
No. I mean,
okay.
We talked about it, and we thought that I thought he was going to change a little bit, but I've looked at the defense. They're not good playing what they do now. And you want them out of their comfort zone against Patrick Mahomes. I feel like they would have been miscommunicating even more than they already do. And when you have players that are even kind of pseudo comfortable with the defense you're running, and you try to change up what they do that week, that's only going to make even more miscommunication. So I think you would have seen more breaks in the defense had they tried to go to that. So no, at the end of the day, it doesn't surprise me. Okay,
cool. We're in the same point. Michael, yeah, Kelsey's frustrated. He's getting beat up a lot. You know, he does do a good job blocking. I don't know that it's underrated. I just don't think that anybody really focuses on, because Andy won't make it a focus of the offense. But I think it's generally acknowledged around the league that Travis is a very good blocker at the tight end position. He's not Kittle.
No, I also think this year he hasn't been as good. I've seen multiple times of him falling off some blocks, not getting to that second level, and letting linebackers just kind of run underneath him a little bit. So it's a double-edged sword when it comes to Travis Kelce with the blocking.
Dude, don't take this personally. The reason Frank Gore has better vision is because he's my age.
He's seen it all.
Right? But Derek Gore, and I'm only teasing you a little bit. Dude, I actually have done this same miss. Frank Gore is that older guy that I think he finished up in Indianapolis actually 2 seasons ago. Something like that. Derek's it's not even necessarily vision. It's that he has the ability to accelerate in a straight line a little bit more than Clyde does. Clyde's got the lateral agility that I think outdoes Gore, but you can see when he gets to an open hole where he can just move in a straight line, I feel like he's got better acceleration.
This actually brings right into my point that I tried to argue a few weeks ago about how when the box is stacked, you're going to see those long breaking runs. The Raiders knew they were going to run the ball, and Derek Gore just kind of waited. Because he was like, there's nothing there, and he found it. But there's 9 people right there. There was nobody else in sight. Clyde and Darrell do not get that kind of treatment because Patrick Mahomes is in the game. So I think we're seeing that my point about seeing those too high deep safeties and more off coverage is it playing into directly in impacting the run game and how you can break off large runs. So as much as I think Derek Gore's patience played out there, I don't agree that he has better vision than Clyde. I don't think he has poor vision, but I think that he's there's a reason that Clyde's the starter right now.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Jay, Fenton played just over half. There were 64 total defensive snaps. He played 35 of them. Niang got in for just the 4 reps with Henny. I truly feel, the more I think about this, that they're probably saving him for the Chargers game.
Yep.
And it just was an opportunity. Just give him a little warm-up, you know what I mean?
See how he looks.
Yeah, so I do expect he was a limited participant today, but I do expect that they're going to try to get him in there. If he can get to full health, then he will go. Gooch, thank you as always. Let's go, Rogue. I like that. And thanks for the super chat, buddy. Folks, you can watch Gooch and Stevie Keys on Fridays. You can watch Aaron and the whole crew that are making picks on Saturdays. If you're a member, and to join the memberships, it's down underneath Dan. If you do, would you please send me an email, though? A lot of people have been having trouble with this. You got to send me an email to get in the Discord. Bandwagon Dallas fan, I resent you your invite. Let me know if you didn't get it. It's probably in your junk folder is what I'm thinking. But thank you, Gooch. Adams, the Charger game is, if it is on Thursday. So what we'll do is I'm going to ask Seth to come on and do the post game with me. When it's an away game, things are a little bit different. So my immediate action post game will be to record Locked On Chiefs because that's when I have the reporter. And then about half hour, maybe a little bit beyond that, I'll go live. I'll have Seth on with me if he can stay up that late. You know,
you never know, man.
He's got 18 kids. It makes life hard. So, but we will do that, and it won't be quite the normal kind of like conversation and a little bit of Q&A. It'll just be the regular breakdown post game. Maybe we'll do that for the regular Sunday show. We'll do a Q&A or something. I don't know. And thank you, Doug. If you guys would hit the like, especially if you're new and you're not somebody that's been here before. Good crowd tonight, you know, for a Monday night after a big win, 350 people. I appreciate it. Rasta, what's going on with Gordon? I heard he might not play. Yes, he got put on the COVID list this afternoon. He is a positive test. He is not a close contact. So that means in order for him to play, which this is like, it's like a 5% chance, he has to have back-to-back negative tests 24 hours apart, which means he would have to test negative on Wednesday morning and Thursday morning in order to play Thursday night. It's a long shot. Luckily,
well, he
Sean Slater
test negative tomorrow morning too.
Well, yeah, there is that. But if he didn't test on Friday positive, most likely there's very little chance of that. But hey, we can cross our fingers. Sean Slater for the Chargers is in the same situation, and nothing against Josh. That's a much bigger loss on their side because Josh is the number 2 receiver at this point. At least in the way that he lines up. Rashawn Slater is like the number 1 offensive lineman on that roster. So, yeah, much bigger difference. Guy, thank you very much for the super chat. Looked like Andy was calling the plays on Sunday. You think he'll take that back from EB down the stretch? Also, thank you. We appreciate that.
Yes, very much. Thank you so much.
It's a group effort. Like everyone that I named, we all contribute to it. Thank you, Guy. What did you take away from the play calling?
I mean, I don't know if it was Andy or if it wasn't. I just think that what we're seeing is that the Raiders are a terrible matchup defensively for the Chiefs offense. And they know that. And they also knew that they wouldn't change anything up. So they could call it a little bit differently than they would have against other teams that actually change based on what you're seeing. Gus Bradley doesn't care. And I think that even if it was Reed or EB, I think it would have looked relatively the same.
Yeah, that's perfectly fair. Let's see. No, we'll never have confirmation.
I want to know.
Unless there's a memoir at some point.
Right.
Jaden, thank you. It's Dan the Man.
Thank you.
I told you guys he'd be back. No worry. You're not stuck with me solely. I know it's difficult to look. Hopefully the picture looks better tonight. This thing that I'm trying.
Literally great.
Okay, good. I'm sorry that you now have to see me in full
looks better
HD.
Than mine now. Ridiculous.
Apologies, folks. Joseph Hooper. Sorry, I want to say Josh. Sorry. Thank you for the support. We appreciate it. The Chiefs bring back Ward, Hughes, and Baker. Hughes was a 1 year, right?
Yeah,
that's all he had left.
I think one guy from that list will be back next year.
I think Baker's still under contract, right?
Yeah, and that's
so he'll definitely be back.
Yes.
Ward, I think, will go elsewhere. I think he'll get a bigger contract than the Chiefs want to give. And I don't know, man. If Hughes turns a corner against somebody besides the Raiders, he might be worth, a low-level contract to come back and see if he can continue his career.
I wouldn't be against it because he can also return punts if you don't want to go down that route with McCole anymore. He's definitely a special teams guy you could have around. This is going to come at the Tobe, I think, because you're going to have him, and then you also have the ability to play in a spot like this. I think that this was his best game as an NFL player against the Raiders, period. Like, I don't think there's any argument to be made about that. So the only thing is you have to see more if he's called upon. If he's finding himself in spots, he can't get exposed like he has this season. So we'll see.
Fair enough. Longmorn, thank you for your support. I think Thursday night will be a much better test to see if the D can really turn up. You're absolutely right. And I have full confidence that they will, because without Slater, it's a middle of the road offensive line. to be nice.
It's not. I was about to say that's really nice because even
I'm being
with
positive,
them,
Dan.
even with them, they're not very good right now.
Right. So they should be able. Are they going to get 20 pressures between Frank and Chris? Probably not. That's a pretty high output. But as a front four, that's all I care about. And I know there's some questions coming up. I've tagged a couple. We're going to get to them right here about what that means. Gooch, thank you again. All new members, welcome to Rogue Nation. There's been a lot of new members lately, and folks, you can get your members exclusive. I have the new tee designs for the Rogue Nation Discord up in there. Go check those out. And we're gonna get a feedback loop so you guys can come up with some ideas of your own, and I'll try to get those made up. I might have a graphics guy coming on board. We'll see how it all turns out, folks. A little side announcement. Some people had asked. The Canny Creek Band is getting back together. If you like Southern rock and country music, you live in Colorado, you can come see us play. We are going to be booked at the fair and festival circuit over the summer, and we'll probably do a show in the spring. Something should be a nice, like, all ages kind of show. So just want to let you know, for those who have been waiting, yes, we will put the band back out, I promise. Do you think that Derek Gore should get more opportunities? I think he's made the most of when he does, but it's difficult for you to justify taking a first-round selection and the guy that does everything for you when you need it in Darrell off of the field. But this running back by committee thing is the longevity they need to get to the Super Bowl again.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. And unfortunately, they put themselves in this position by taking a running back in the first round. So yeah, that's when guys flash, they do earn a little bit more. I think that Clyde had, a great day yesterday outside of his remedial 3.7 yard per carry average. Got the ball 10 times. But those 2 touchdown runs, when you break tackles, you make guys miss and you make smart plays. I think that shows you that he's not just, he can actually do it at the goal line. It's almost like, he's got pretty decent ability to make people miss. But I don't know.
It's good to have a number of them. Just don't use them in the first round. That's all we're saying.
No, just don't do it. Don't put us in this situation.
So Dre asked the question that I was hitting at before. Did Melvin Ingram, is he the missing piece of the defensive line? And I think you can see from the performance, he certainly was. If nothing else, he takes the focus off of Frank and Chris so that they have to pay attention to all 4 defensive linemen. And that's the key for me.
So this Chiefs defense was like a puzzle. Okay. And what Spags was doing at the beginning of the season, he was taking a one of these like corner pieces and he was turning it sideways, and it wasn't working. So what he did was he took that piece and he's like, "This is Dan Sorensen. I'm going to turn you this way. Look what, now you're Juan Thornhill. Okay, now you're going there." You get Willie Gay back from injury. Okay, he's starting to put it together in his head. He takes that piece and he puts it there. And then Ingram has allowed Chris Jones to be not the piece that goes over here, piece that goes here, and then you take Melvin Ingram and the whole thing comes together because everyone's in the spots that they're supposed to be in. And now we can see that the defense is exactly what it was last year when everyone was in the spots they're supposed to be in. That's exactly what he brought in, the ability to move these guys to where they're supposed to go, and you get the right picture.
What a concept, right?
Right.
Rank these 3 likeliest to be back next season: Hughes, Reed, Ingram. Hardman will be back no matter what. He's on his rookie contract. He's not going anywhere, you guys. So who do you think is the most likely of those other 3?
I think Ingram is the most likely, but I think that 2 out of those last 3 outside of Hardman are very likely. I think Reed and Ingram will both be back in Kansas City next year.
Yeah, as long as they maintain this level of play or something close to it.
Right now, yes. Right, if they keep this up, they've both earned spots back. And unfortunately, I think that means that our buddy Colin Saunders might not have much more playing time on this team.
May not. We'll have to find out how he does. He's still I still don't understand what the injury is itself, but we'll find that out eventually in the memoirs. Do you think that Honey Badger will stay in the slot if Snead is out? Absolutely. Yep. They could put Fenton in there, but Fenton's not 100%. Quite frankly, they need his muscle outside on Williams and the bigger receivers.
Agreed.
So I don't think that they'll change that. Dan, Derek will have a bigger role in the team next year. Unfortunately, I'll bet you they bring Darrell back. So,
yeah. I mean, Darrell's going to be cheap. Like, Darrell's going to be cheap. You still have Clyde because he's your first-round draft pick, so you get him for 5 years pretty much. And honestly, I think that they're going – I talked about this last week. I think they're going to draft a running back with explosion, like real explosion and speed. And that's going to put a guy like Derek Gore back around the practice squad because
yeah,
you have 3 backs.
I mean, they got to carry 3. They generally carry 3.
They do. And so he might find his way as the 3rd guy. And
Yeah.
when it comes to, you have 3 guys that do relatively the same thing. When it comes to explosion and speed, okay.
Mm-hmm.
The change of dynamics needs to be a little bit. You can't have a change of pace back be the same kind of pace. You're already trotting out there. So I think that's eventually what's going to happen. But we'll find out.
I'm just going to tell you guys this: Dalvin Cook's little brother looks pretty good. He's going to be a day 3 or a UDFA. I'm just telling you.
Dalvin Cook, man.
Right.
Dalvin Cook.
He plays for Georgia, by the way. You can watch him. He wears number 4. Gooch, great question. And this is what I'm concerned about. When you get somebody in the room that is exposed to COVID and they come up positive, the rest of the guys in the room are being exposed. Technically, with the way the protocols are right now, is they're all close contacts, but they're not automatically held out any longer because of the vaccine status. If they weren't vaccinated, they would be out too. So luckily, I hope that it doesn't spread. Could we see another positive come up in that room? We could. It could even be the coach. You never know.
Yeah.
So it's definitely something we're going to have to monitor all the way through game time.
Yeah. Not fun.
Adam, is Pringle gaining Mahomes' trust? What do you think?
I think there's a little bit there. Last game where he had 2 drops and they went back to him shows me that there's a level of trust there. I think in the wide receiver room, it goes Tyreek Hill, and then I would say probably Demarcus Robinson in terms of the trust level. He's just had more time with him, and then Byron Pringle. But I think that Pringle is gaining on Demarcus if he's not about to take over for that, because the fact of the matter, he's making more plays on the field, and he's getting open far more than Demarcus Robinson does. And this is a game-by-game basis. So, yeah, I think that there is a very good trust relationship developing there.
I like it as well. Gooch, thank you again. Hey, Keys, should we have a live edition of the Huddle for during the playoffs in SB? I think that's
a good idea.
Impressive, but I know you guys. Sometimes, the whole after dark thing, can't let that creep in. But folks, if you want to see a live version of the Rogue Head Huddle with Stevie and Gooch, leave your comments down below, not just in the live chat. If you would put them in the comments so that we can kind of tally them and get a look. We appreciate it. And Miss Holly.
Oh, thank you, Holly.
Always the contributor. We appreciate you very much. I hope that you're doing well. Hope you're feeling better. And your question, how do they adjust their practice schedule on a short week like this? And do you think that is a disadvantage for Thursday versus having a full week between games? What the Chiefs have elected to do is they basically took out their off day. So they treated today like it was Wednesday. A practice. A lot of guys were limited, but still like a full mitigated offensive package practice. They'll do that tomorrow, and then they'll do their Friday walkthrough on Thursday morning, is what I understand, or Thursday afternoon, depending on travel schedules. I'm not sure what that is. So that's the big thing that everybody hates, is because you basically take out your off day and you take out your rehab day that is usually spent watching film and getting physical treatment so that you can recover. That's why what you saw in the snap counts, it was only Patrick and the offensive line that played over 3/4 of the snaps yesterday on the offensive side. On the defensive side, it was only Hughes, Thornhill. They played all the snaps. One came off for 1, sorry. And then Dan Sorensen was right up there with them because they were letting Tyron play the nickel all day, so that they had Sorensen on the field. Other than that, nobody went over 3/4, and the next one down was Tyron and Charvarius. So they were making sure that they rotated. The defensive front guys, Chris had 39, and Frank went all the way down to 35. And so that was roughly, 52% of the snaps. So they should be rested and prepared for this next week, knowing that it was coming on such a quick turnaround.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's honestly, it's more rehab. It's more soft tissue work. And it's just static. Normally you give days of rest in there and that kind of thing, but now it's just going to be powering all the way through game time. And guys will have treatment that morning as well. Thank you, Miss Holly, for all the support that you always give us. And thank you again. If you have an idea, I know that you have some ideas for some of the the where, whatever, get it in the Discord, and I'll try to make something happen. And Stevie says, yes, he's in for the live thing for sure. Thank you, Stevie. And you guys, you can make comments without super chatting when it's about the show, you know. I'm just saying. Jaden, thank you for the support. As always, players, I think they should use more. Hughes, Gordon, Gore, Noah Gray. What do you guys think? We agree with all those, except where do you think Noah Gray is right now?
I don't know. I want to see them use him and Kelsey both more as an H-back. I want to see more of it. But there was that one play that they used Kelsey as an H-back, and then they said, hey, guess what? We're going to just put that in our pocket. Seems like that's what they did with that anyway, because it worked.
Well, and I'll give you my takeaway from last night, too. Because kudos, good for Josh Gordon. I'm sorry he got sick today. It's been an up and down 24 hours for him.
Yeah.
But to score his touchdown, to make another catch, and get on the podium, everything, he was pretty happy. He was pretty talkative because he said, we've been working on that play for 3 or 4 weeks. So that tells me that Andy's got a whole plan for both him, probably Gray as well, that they're just holding on to.
Yeah.
Until either down the stretch when they have to have a game or a playoff game.
You saw that RPO to Gordon, too. That's something they do with Tyreek Hill a lot. And like I said, that shows me that they're moving him around. They're seeing what's there. They're looking at the coverages that he's getting, because that's exactly the kind of coverage that Tyreek Hill gets. It's off coverage, and it's just a little out route on that RPO. And it's bam, bam. It's a 7, 8, 9-yard catch. And they're going to use that. What they're going to end up doing is having Josh Gordon and Tyreek Hill lined up on the same side. And they're going to see how many different times they can just do RPO,
right,
and just see what happens, because you have that out route and then the hill to the flat. He can turn that into 10 yards. They have an entire package for Josh Gordon, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Being very stingy right now. Do they lose another game at all this season?
I've made it abundantly clear that I think that there's one, maybe just a weird game, but right now, the way that they're playing, well, like I said, I need to see the offense string it together for 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
The defense, I don't see them losing a game with the way the defense is playing. I know it's not against the top offenses, the top clicking offenses in the NFL, but at this point, it doesn't matter. They've got 6 games of legitimate defense being played, holding all of these people, any team, everyone below 10 points on average for 6 games in a row. Doesn't matter. This is the NFL. Anybody can score points. This team's not letting people score points. So, no.
I'm with you. What we thought the Bengals were, they're not quite that strong. They get past Thursday night with a win. I think they win out.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. Deldrick, Derek, McCole, Badger, Brown, Ward, Hughes, Okafor, and more have contracts coming up. Who do you keep? McCole Hardman does not have a contract coming up. He will be back. They're going to make Brown and Tyreek Hill their priorities, and they're going to try maybe to get Tyron done. Ward walks. Hughes probably walks. Elks Okafor will be probably very similar. They'll let him explore, and then he'll come back on like a $2 million 1-year contract is my guess. Yeah. And we both feel, and I don't mean to speak for you, Dan, but we both feel they have to put Noddy back on this roster like ASAP, because he does all the dirty work that has to be done in order to be a good defensive front.
He puts in the work, consistently gets
and he
overlooked.
Loves dogs. Let's give him some credit. Daryl, do you see Andy resting our starters in 17? If they have the number 1 seed, it's a possibility. Yeah. It just depends. Again, we need 2 losses. We need Tennessee and New England to lose, and the Chiefs win out. They have the number 1. That's it. There is no tiebreak. There's 0 situations where the Chiefs lose a game and they can break a tie. 0. So you just got to have those teams lose. Longmorn, thank you for the support. Can our guard center guard trio keep Bosa from dominating? I'm thinking it's an interesting match. You know, the guard center guard, if he comes inside every now and then, I do feel like Trey's got enough to absorb his rush. He has a spin in there that he can use when he comes inside, but really it's going to be, they're going to line him up on the right tackle all day long and see what they can get done. He doesn't want to go against Orlando. His best shot is, even if it is Niang, is that they're going to say his best thing is being an edge on against their weakest tackle. That's just what it's going to be.
And they're going to get him on Brown a little bit with his speed, I think.
You do think that they'll try that?
Yeah,
It
I don't think
hasn't
they're
been
just gonna.
successful historically.
No, I think that they're just keeping him on one side allows too much prediction. So I think that
Okay.
they're going to move him around on both, and you could try some speed rushes against Brown too.
This one's for you, buddy.
Thank you, Scott. Hi, how's it going, man? Does Gordon really take off now, or was this a season highlight? So we just kind of touched on it a little bit. We do think that they have been working on a lot of stuff to work into this offense with Josh Gordon, and we saw just a tiny little bit of it. And that motion out to in is beautiful. That touchdown pass, because that's nearly undefendable. It's literally almost undefendable. You just say, hey, just come on down, and then just throw it to him. It's almost a guy that big. It's almost impossible to stop that kind of score. So they've also got stuff built off of that. So I think you have like a pump to Josh Gordon, and then it's like maybe a handoff, or you have something else. They've got so much stuff worked around it. So I think that not necessarily a take off now, but hey, guess what, guys? There's stuff in here for Josh Gordon.
Yes. Hey, by the way, he has skills too. You might not like to see them, but you will.
Yeah, we're gonna show you.
I think they're going to be pretty excited about what they can do with him. Eric Streeter, welcome back. The Chiefs run the ball successfully versus the Chargers. Chiefs rushing yardage total for the game. Successfully on a per down basis, I will say yes. I think they can get 4.5, 5 yards of carry. Will they do it with any kind of volume? I don't know. I doubt it.
I don't think that's what they're going to attempt to do. I think that, like you said, on a per run, probably. And now that people are talking about the Chargers run defense being awful, overarching, yes, but they've been better lately. So you have to take that looking at it a little bit more, because they've been better against the run lately. But I think this is going to be about, hey, guess what? Patrick Mahomes is still the best quarterback in this division, and it's we're going to go out and show it on Thursday night. I think that's what this game's about.
I agree with you. Jaden, do you think that they will start to see running back by committee and Patrick Mahomes only throwing for 250 yards every game? Yes and yes, and I don't think that they're related. Patrick's yardage totals are more a symptom of the defense playing high with more than one safety. Sometimes we've seen 3 deep out of some teams.
Mm-hmm.
And that then equates to an opportunity to run the ball more. I don't know that Andy's going to take that, though. We've seen him just ignore
he hasn't
it.
since, and he doesn't care. So
right. Tactics, thank you, sir. Best defense since 97? Question mark. 15 defense, not as deep. Okay, and that's fair. I'm not ready to go there.
I think the 2013 defense was better up and down.
It's been 5 games.
6 games now. 6 games. Like, they've been playing this for 6 games. Like,
I got to see him finish the season at this level, and then I can start talking about it.
Yeah.
Ready Whip, thank you. It's because it's only 5 yards that none of the holding on Kelsey is being called? Yeah, they have 5 yards to rough him up. It's what happens after that, and the refs have been letting things slide outside of that 5-yard area. That's the problem. Yeah, but yes, you can manhandle. You can North Dallas 40 all you want in that first 5 yards, and
that's not where most of it's coming, in my opinion, either.
I think I would probably agree with you. The problem is, if you're not getting the calls and it's effective against him, they're gonna keep doing it until you prove them not to.
Mm-hmm. I think they don't run enough route diversity with Kelsey, to be honest with you. It's a ton of curls,
and it's not just they don't run it. There's a lot of option routes in there.
Yeah, you're right.
Chooses what he's doing. So Travis, mix it up, bro. Come on.
He needs to do some more corners and some more posts to stop the momentum, because they're getting him at those curl at the break point where he breaks down. He needs to keep his feet moving, because then you're going to start getting those holds and getting those pass interferences when you're trying to move and he's being held. That's the thing for me, is I think he's just doing it to himself.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that too. Guys, I'm behind on super chats. We're gonna get to those. Before I forget, Josh Fan is in the house. How are you, buddy? I think somebody just put that in there. Glad you're doing well. Jaden, thank you. So if Gordon doesn't play, should we bring in Fountain 82 from the press squad? He did very well in the preseason. I think that's the most likely. They elevated him last time they needed a wide receiver. So, and I'm a Reese Fountain fan, so I want to see him get an opportunity as well. Will they do that? I don't know.
I think he'd be elevated, but he won't get an opportunity.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know that he's going to get the ball thrown to him, or that he's even going to get a significant amount of snaps. He'd be an emergency player at that point.
Yep.
Jacob, if a team wins every division game and loses every other game, they go 6-11. Do they still win the division? The division is the best overall record. It's not just against your division opponents. That is one of the tiebreakers. So no, the team with the best overall record wins the division. Lego, thanks guys for the time and effort.
Appreciate you.
Thank you. We appreciate you and your support.
Very
Thank
much.
you. And guys, if you haven't seen Sean, game days, look for Sean on this channel. And the rest of the week, look for Sean on his channel. You can find those links in the descriptions of yesterday's breakdown and his video from the other day. That's Game Day with Sean. Guys, is Ingram the best defender on the team? And if not, who is? Matthew is still better.
So is Chris Jones.
Yeah.
It's not
Melvin
close.
in the top 5, yes.
Yeah, but it's not close. Those two guys are like heads and tails, the
it's-
best defenders on this team.
Okay, so let's have fun with this though. So who rounds out the top 5?
So I personally think that Snead is up there. I even think Thornhill is a better overall defender. He doesn't get the ball coming his way because he's a deep safety, doesn't get the credit for all that because of what he does behind the scenes. So those are the 5 guys I would have. I think Ingram's probably
I can. Yeah, he's right in there. And I could say that if you get yesterday's version of Frank all the time, Frank would be ahead of him.
Maybe.
But
If
you don't
Willie,
get that all the time.
If Willie plays like more than 70% of the snaps, he'd be up there, but he plays like 50%. So it's like, I want to say Willie Gay, but they're just not getting him all the snaps he needs to get.
Right?
No.
I'm with you. Gavin, sorry if this question already been answered. The Raiders playing less like everyone else. They only played too high 25% of the time, which was 4% less than they played it the first time. So no, they were still playing their single high. I saw a cover 3 match a couple times. I saw a cover 6 in there once. I don't remember what else was going on, but it was a lot of Gus being Gus.
Yep. Don't care what you guys do.
He did not learn his lesson. Ty and Aaron, thank you for all you do. Much appreciated. Thank you, Baltimore, for always being here. Southern Bell, same to you. I didn't see a comment after this one, so I will check again and see if there's something below. Aaron, this is a reminder to everybody. If you would put the question marks at the beginning of your question, that helps me. And would you see what Stevie said? And I'll go grab some more.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for the super chat, Stevie. With the game being pretty well out of reach earlier, do you feel starters could have been pulled even earlier? Yes. I was actually saying that you're about to see a full half of football from Chad Henne. I thought that would make a lot of sense, especially with Patrick Mahomes. Just take him out. This game was well out of reach. The Raiders never had a shot from the first opening snap. They didn't have a shot in this game, and you definitely could have. The fact that you saw Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce still getting in there with like 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter was very surprising to me. If it came down to that point, I wouldn't have had anybody playing in the fourth quarter at all of my starters. But that's Andy Reid's thing. He thinks it makes them a little bit better for Thursday night than taking them all out. So I don't know.
With you. I like where you're going. I like where your head's at. Pretty happy with that. Southern Bell, I still didn't see anything. I checked again. If you would like to ask a question, please hit us again. I'll make sure to hit that. We got Stevie's. Aaron, thank you. If you guys would hit the thumbs up, especially if you're new, but even if you're not, 500 is in here. We all hit that like button. It helps a lot. It helps us gain new Chiefs fans, and that's what we're looking for all the time. Is Niang the right tackle of the future?
Yes, he is.
He is definitely for his rookie contract. I do need to see some progression for him in order to get a multi-million-dollar, 15 a year kind of contract.
Yeah.
But yes, for right now and for the next, this is season 2 of his contract. So at least 2 more seasons beyond this. Absolutely. Best Chiefs content on YouTube. Thank you, Rock Solid. We appreciate that. We work hard on it. What do you think of Mez's question?
Do you think Andy is going to open the playbook on Thursday? I don't. I don't think Andy's going to do it because he's been able to get by. And Andy's just like, if I can get by, I'm just going to get by. And when we talk about opening the playbook, you guys realize that his playbook is like at least double the size of this right here. And we get to see maybe that. So opening of the playbook typically never happens for Andy Reid.
Ooh, that's a good question. Okay, I just saw one that I really want to answer. So I like what you were saying there. Sorry, I got distracted. Bill, thank you for the super chat as always. Chiefs had success against the Chargers the first time around, except for the for 4 first half turnovers. Yes, that counts. Yes. What adjustments would you expect to see them, if any? And are you concerned about the offense still? Yes, I'm not 100% sold on the offense. What they did well last night against the 2 high, they still completed passes and got a couple of chunks against it, and that's what was encouraging to me. Now, Derwin didn't play yesterday. Is that correct?
Correct.
Or was he out at practice today?
Yeah,
One of the two.
Play. He didn't play yesterday.
I do feel that they can exploit that older corner that bugs me. Not Michael Davis, because I think no, I wasn't even thinking Chris Harris. Is the other one, the zone guy that I always forget his name. Was in Washington, was in Carolina. Okay, moving on. Anyway, no, like Michael Davis, by the way, he was the guy that I wanted the Chiefs to poach from them this last offseason at the corner spot. I think they're going to try to put him on Kelsey again from what I'm hearing. So look out for that one. That could be a long day physically early, but Kelsey will get his against it because he's still really young. Other adjustments for the offense, I think they're going to try to hit those corners a little bit more. The 2 high, you can either attack it down the middle or you got to hit it along the sidelines. And I think their corners are a little bit over triggered by Tyreek in particular, and maybe a little bit by Hardman, especially. I thought Hardman's put in 2 weeks where lower snaps have been good for him. And when he has gotten the ball, I thought he's done a good job with it. So maybe they can stress those guys deep and maybe attack the sidelines a little bit.
I'd like to see them attack deep and hit underneath a little bit more, like do some corners with Byron Pringle or some out routes underneath some of these deep routes, because you can attack those cover too deep with pushing them down the field and hit those out routes. We've seen the coverage open up there multiple times with some of the corner routes and out routes. So I'd like to see some of that. I do think you're going to find it. Maybe the guy's named Josh Gordon. I didn't think he was on the Chargers. Or no, Josh Norman.
Norman, that's the guy I'm thinking of. Yes, thank you.
Josh Norman. I didn't think he was still playing because he's so bad. But I guess
I could be wrong. I thought that's what I saw yesterday. I didn't get to see the game because I was recording the draft show and stuff. So it was just on in the corner of my eye.
Still, yeah, I think that you can attack those corners for sure.
Either way. South George, thank you for the super chat. PA equals pass attempts. It does. It could also mean play action if that's what the conversation was going on. I just pulled that out of there because it was super chat and I didn't see the context around it. So let me know if we need to go deeper in that, Seth.
Yeah.
But thank you for the support as always. Bill, who might the Titans lose to? Their schedule looks pretty easy. That's fair. But I will say this. I think the Steelers still have some spine. Like they won a game that I didn't expect them to. You could always see them pop up. I think the Niners can beat them. And I'm crossing my fingers the Dolphins are going to make that late season surge that they made last year and kind of put that back on the thing. I think that. Right? It seems like they're a little bit. So I think there's 2 legit games, maybe 2.5 legit games that they could lose, Bill.
Yeah, I think that the Niners are the team that I would say beats them.
Yeah.
That's not a good matchup for the Titans, in my opinion.
No, I don't think so either. What do you think of this one?
Thanks for the question. Chief, is it Kananging? I'm sorry.
Kananging.
Is it crazy Kelsey having a bad year? But if you look at tight end stats, he's still top of the league. I believe that Mark Andrews just passed him in some way, shape, and form in statistical categories. But that tells you how bad tight end is around the NFL. The utilization of tight ends. It's not everywhere. Travis Kelce's, George Kittle's, Mark Andrews don't come around. Even Rob Gronkowski. Gronk is having an incredible resurgence. I am super impressed by what I'm seeing from him. So those top guys don't come around very often, and the desperation and the gap between the top guys and everybody else is so large, and it shows you that just the talent at tight end is not there. It's just not, and the utilization specifically with Noah Fant in Denver is a big problem. You don't have a quarterback that can give him the ball, so it's just. You have some talented tight ends, and you don't have the quarterbacks matched with them properly to be able to actually use them well. So it's all about matchups, and the Chiefs have one of the best tight ends to ever live, and that's
both of them. Sorry,
yeah. I mean, Gronk is at his prime the best tight end ever, but it was just so short.
I'll take an argument with that. That's fine. That's a whole other day. Go away. I don't want to have it with you. I'm happy to actually. I'm just not boxing. What's Alex? Thank you. What do you think about the Herbert versus Mahomes things for the next 10 years? Who will have a better career? Easily, in my opinion, it will be Mahomes, because I have trouble seeing the Chargers as an organization, put enough around Herbert to get him to the championship.
Yeah, I think that this is just going to be a lot of fun. You're seeing Herbert do exactly what Mahomes did, with defenses not adjusting to what he's able to do early on. And I think that the Chargers have actually handicapped him a lot this season by forcing him into a quick game, which that's not what he wants to do. He's much like Patrick Mahomes in that sense, is that their best attribute, athleticism, get outside the pocket, make things happen down the field. I think eventually you'll see defenses do exactly what happened to Patrick Mahomes, and you're going to see Herbert struggled a little bit with that, and it's all about the adjustment process. But I do think that Mahomes has the better career.
Scott, what thoughts on the secondary? What happened to Hitchens? The secondary is rounding into really good shape and is deep enough that they can sustain a thing where, you know, one of your starters has to miss a week, whether it's an injury or anything else. So that's a positive sign. Hitch, I think that they played him only 22 snaps because they wanted to rest him for the Chargers, very specifically.
Agreed.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Just want to make sure. Sometimes I'm out in left field. You never know.
Yeah,
I gave Matt Corral to the Atlanta Falcons in yesterday's mock draft for the Locked On NFL Draft. People lost their minds.
I bet they did.
I'm just saying. Do you think that Russell Wilson will go to the Broncos next year? The rumors seem like it. I will tell you this: I am pretty comfortable saying I don't think he'll be in Seattle.
Yeah, that's. I've been saying the same thing. I think he's really done. I think New York is a possibility too. I know that Joe Judge is reportedly having his job safe, but I think that would be a pretty bad decision if you're trying to court Russell Wilson, because it's clearly not working there. So I think that Denver is a very likely suitable spot for Russell Wilson.
And I'll tell you this too: if it doesn't happen, you're going to see Noah Fant probably go to another AFC West team the year after that. So maybe it could be Kansas City. It's more than likely to be Los Angeles, from what I'm hearing. Jaden, is Willie Gay the best linebacker on this roster? Yes. In the league? No. You will not believe the hype that I have seen in the last couple of weeks. Like, he's good. He's not. No,
he's
not that good.
Really good, but
yeah, he's not Bobby Wagner, folks. Okay, let's take
Bobby Wagner's not even himself.
Bobby Wagner anymore. Yes,
like Darius Leonard. He's not Fred Warner. Like, he's not those guys.
Yeah, which still amazes me. If you guys haven't watched the Hard Knocks that's out now, that is like the first in-season one.
Yeah,
Darius Leonard is still light as all get out, and he still is playing at that one of the highest levels in the NFL.
Incredible.
It really is. So, like, when I start talking about Devin Lloyd in a couple of weeks, folks, don't get nervous, because he's high-waisted as well. He's a little bit lighter and thinner than you want him to be, but there's a precedent here. Best D-line in the NFL, they look like it. Not yet. They've looked like it against the Raiders.
Yeah, I would say they're playing like a top 5 defensive line. They are, but
I'd say 10, but I can live with 5. That's fine. I'm a little stingier with it. Daryl, why haven't we seen Bolton on the field more than we have? Because he's a 2-down linebacker, and honestly, he played more snaps than Hitchens. It was Willie, and Bolton was just a few snaps behind him yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's actually a really good mix, and I think they do need another linebacker, a third, like another Will, like almost even. I don't like this that much, but almost like a linebacker safety hybrid guy. Like, if you could get a Koromoa and not try to make a safety come down and be a linebacker, maybe.
I'd be all for it. I'd love it. But Spags.
Right. And so you guys know, the aforementioned Devin Lloyd will be high on my list. Just be prepared for this. Remember when I wouldn't shut up about Snead in that draft? You're going to hear that about Lloyd all day long. Aaron, thank you. Oh, I missed something. Oliver Eggerman says, missed you both. Thanks for the live show. Well,
thank you.
We missed you too. We're glad that we got something at a time you could make. I know it's tough for folks all around. So, Free 25% of the number of too high shell is misleading because the fourth quarter and where the game was. Gus did mix it up earlier. Yeah, and I would say like the predominance of what I saw in too high was in the first half. And he just got away with it. I think it wasn't working well enough, so he went back to what he knows, is what it felt like to me.
Yeah, you're probably right about that. But again, we don't know. We don't have like an actual breakdown of quarter to quarter, so we can't really tell you if it's misleading or not. We just kind of assume.
Yeah, if anybody out there is like a signal hacker for one of the cell phone companies or whatever, I'd like to get the Bose headset from the opposing coach. I just want that piped into my cell phone, and then I'll be able to know all the answers because that's what I'm looking for. Let's see what else we got. We got a few more folks. We got a couple of minutes, so we're going to get there. Alex, is the best defense that they've had under Mahomes? 18 was pretty good. The last 5 weeks, I would say, have been the best 5-week stretch with Mahomes as the QB.
I would agree. Yeah, and that Super Bowl winning defense wasn't even that good most of the year. It was that good after the Titans game, and it started to lock things up. So I think that if they sustain it all the way through to the end of the season into the playoffs, then yes, this will be the best defense that he's played with.
Yeah. Jane, do you think that Sorensen is the comeback player of the year in the middle of the season? No, I do not.
I see what you're doing there, Jaden. I don't appreciate it.
Setting me up to say what I think.
Yeah, right.
Southern Belle, I'm glad I found something from you. I'm glad to give it, and thank you for that super chat earlier. Do you think that the players got more motivated by the Raiders' disrespect in the pregame? I think there might have been a few that were a little annoyed, but I don't think it was the driving force. I think Dan covered this earlier before. Like a number of them didn't even know from what we host games. So I think a lot of it was just it's the Raiders. They're still pissed off from the circled Arrowhead thing last season, and they just wanted to go stomp them. And I think they played for L'Jarius Sneed more than anything else.
Agreed.
Okay. Travis, thank you as always. I didn't see anything from you, but I'll check here again in a second. Dan, don't ever say the
Gronk word.
Oh, the Gronk word. And everybody thinks you're related anyway, so you
can't
really
know.
Get out of it.
He's my brother. What do you want me to do?
Right? Yeah. Hey, gotta support. Gotta Stack bundles. Thank you very much, Stack. We appreciate it. Seth, thank you again. Do the Chiefs beat New England if Mahomes has 3 pass attempts? No.
No.
Mahomes needs to throw the ball. But that said, shame on you, Buffalo Bills, for letting a 3 pass attempt game from that quarterback beat you.
Sean McDermott was absolutely, I don't know what he was doing in that game. I don't know what he was doing.
I'm lost.
They had the best running back in that game with Josh Allen, and they just said, nah, we won't run the ball like with him. Nah.
No, we're going to skip that. Voodoo, would you try Hughes at safety?
Yes,
I personally would not. You like him in zone enough?
I think you can, but I think that he resembles body type a little bit like what Kendall Fuller did. Maybe not as stocky as Fuller, but I think that you might be able to get a little bit out of his feel for letting him see is better for him, I think, personally, than having him play one-on-one. So I would be okay with him being kind of like what Kendall Fuller was in 2018.
Okay. I can see that. I know that he's most comfortable in man. I think he plays best in man when he can break a little bit, but you could give it a shot. Let's see. Ryan, run stats on this. Gronk versus Kelce minus the rings. Yeah, I mean, we can take a look at that. Jaden or Tony and Travis, the best 2 tight ends of all time. Kelce's about to surpass Gronk in yards. I would put Gronk 3 myself.
I get it.
I think, Dan, you would put him 1?
I think my personal opinion is that Gronk's peak is the best we've ever seen tight end play. That doesn't mean that he's the best ever. I think that his peak was the best, but he didn't sustain it because of injuries. So I still have Tony Gonzalez as the best tight end ever. I think Travis Kelce, if he can get through what's going on with the physicality part of the game, will pass both of them. I think he will pass both of them. That's my opinion.
Okay. Fair enough. I'm with you there. Bill, Coward asked if 15 has already peaked. Thoughts? Not even close.
This is Colin Cowherd's job, guys.
And quite frankly, that whole concept is shock jock on TV. Is
laughable. It's laughable.
Yeah. I don't think we're close. If he had, we would have seen a much worse decline early in the season when he had guys that weren't able to help him and he had all those balls dropped. Yes, he made half of those interceptions himself, but he had a lot of drops. What was it? 7 of them that were tipped?
Yeah, 7 of his interceptions have been tipped.
Michael, give me the Cardinals. That's my guess. I know it doesn't start here for a little bit, but we'll get there.
The Cardinals should wax the Rams. It shouldn't really be close.
And the Rams have been like heckling and Hyde? Jekyll and Hyde. Sorry, not heckling
Yes.
anybody. Good Lord. But yeah, they've been, I can't figure out if they even know who they are. So we'll see. Dre, is it weird that we haven't heard Tyron's contract recently?
No.
Not really. Normally in season, they don't. It was actually something Clark said, 2-3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
That he's still high on their list and they want to work it out.
Yeah.
Take it away. Frey, thank you very much.
Appreciate
Happy.
that. Thank you.
And I didn't even realize it was Canada. So
yeah,
welcome.
That's awesome. Thank you.
My friend just got to Halifax today. She's having a blast. So it's getting cold up there. So I'm not going to Halifax anytime soon. Start, bench, cut. Marty, Andy, Dick Vermeil. Wow.
Start Andy, bench.
3 Hall of Fame
Marty.
coaches there, bro.
I'm taking no shots. I'm taking it all because I know the game we play, and I'm starting Andy. I'm benching Dick, and I'm cutting Marty.
Wow. Okay. I refuse to answer. Those are 3 Hall of Fame coaches. Fun question of the night before I go. Thank you for all the support tonight.
Appreciate you, Jaden. Thank you so much.
I go start, bench, cut. Thigpen, Heward, Croyle.
Okay. Okay.
I start Heward. I'll bench Thigpen and I'll cut Croyle.
No, I'm starting Tyler Thigpen and I am benching Croyle and I'm cutting Damon Heward.
Are you kidding me?
Tyler Thigpen was so at his peak, man. He had such good athletic ability and he could get the ball down the field. He could run the ball and he could throw it. I think if you get
he's a quarterback, not a tailback.
I don't care.
Can you hear me in the back? He's supposed to throw passes.
So does Josh Allen. Look at the way he can run.
Well, there's that. He throws the ball pretty well too, though.
Yeah,
Sexy. We need the Titans and Patriots to drop a game. What opponent do you think either of them could trip on? I think it could be Indy. I think they get the Bills again, or do they? No, they get the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins could beat either of them. They play both. Niners, I think, can get the Titans. Did we cover that?
Yeah, we did a little bit. Yeah, I think that's
okay.
I don't know who else they play, but yeah.
So yeah, Patriots could be Indy or Miami. That's what it is.
Miami,
yeah. That's what I dropped. Sorry. Cheeseball, how are you? I was at the Browns game and this game. Wow, it's much more fun to watch a good defense. Absolutely.
Yeah, right.
Will this continue through the playoffs or will they regress? If history serves, they will continue to get better from this point forward unless there's a major injury to one of the front four. And unfortunately, if that happens, it all falls apart.
Yeah, I think that this is the fact that everyone's in the right spots is why you're seeing this. And that's not going to change without withstanding. I'm not going to say the word, okay? I'm not going to say it. But you guys know what I'm thinking. You know?
All right, we're going to wrap it up with the Super Chats after Adams. What do you think of this? Where would you put Sharp?
I still think Shannon Sharp's probably 5'6".
Okay. Other than who you put ahead of him other than
you have 3 Winslow's up there. I think Antonio Gates up there still.
Okay. So the Chargers. I'm with you.
Yes.
Those were the 2 that I would argue. I would probably put Shannon as 4.
I get that. I just it's a good conversation to have. Like there's a lot of those guys are all, I think if you get it in the right light, you can interchange just about all of them in these different spots. But I do think the top 3 is quite clear and concise with Kelsey, Tony, and Gronk. I think are just there.
I'm with you. And I just want to throw out Greg Olson's name for good job and Emery Moorhead back in the day.
Love Greg Olson, and he's excellent in the booth. By the way, I really enjoy him in the booth.
I was thinking the same thing. Bill, thank you. I was asking for laughs. I'm 90% sure Kyle comments just took away from trolling Nick Wright. Yeah, and that unfortunately seems to be a bit of it. And honestly, I think they get a lot of traction out of Nick, and that's just hype as well. So Nick feels it. I think they take advantage of him in hyping. Ryan, you start Thigpen, bench Heward. I think we all agree on cutting Croyle. So hey, fair enough.
Either way, man.
No, Damon Heward was 10 times the quarterback Tyler Thigpen was. It's not really that close.
You'll never convince me otherwise. Starting Tyler Thigpen.
Just go look at completion percentage. If nothing else.
I saw that Hail Mary. I don't care.
Oh, good Lord. Good God. All right, folks. We're going to wrap it up on that one. Thank you for all the support tonight, all the super chatters. We very much appreciate it. And Dan has something for you already in the can for tomorrow. We'll have that up tomorrow afternoon. We'll have film on Wednesday. I might even do a little bonus film if I get a hold of it. And then I know it's a rough week. So post game, we'll do the breakdown post game a little bit, maybe half hour, 45 minutes after the ball game. I know it'll be late. And if I can get Seth to stay up, he will join me. If not,
I will do it.
Yeah, okay. That's late for you too. So I didn't want to commit you, but
no big deal. If Seth won't do it, I will be there.
I will be here. I'm a night owl, so it'll be all right. So you guys have a great week. We'll have something for you tomorrow afternoon. For all you newbies, like, sub, hit the bell. Thank you for being here. Over 500 in the chat tonight. It's a good night to be a Chiefs fan, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.